All right, let's talk about one of the most powerful ways to make smarter marketing decisions, A/B testing. We're going to break down how you can use it to stop guessing, actually boost your conversions, and get some real data-backed results. So, picture this. You've just built an amazing landing page, and you're down to the very last detail, that call to action button. Should it be red or should it be blue? I mean, which one is actually going to get more people to click? It seems like such a tiny choice, right? But this exact kind of uncertainty, well, it's at the heart of so many marketing decisions we make every day.
Exactly. And that's the whole point. Relying on gut feelings or what you think looks best is a huge gamble. Your marketing shouldn't feel like you're just throwing darts in the dark. The good news is there's a much better way. A way to let hard data, not your doubts, lead the way.
Which brings us right to our first big idea. It is time to stop guessing and start knowing. We're going to talk about how you can make decisions with confidence, backed by data, not by those nagging doubts.
So, what is this magic tool and, why does it matter so much? Let's really define A/B testing and get a handle on just how powerful it can be.
At its core, A/B testing, you'll also hear it called split testing, is a really straightforward process. Basically, you take one of your marketing assets, like a web page or an email or maybe an ad, and you create two different versions of it. Then you show each version to a different slice of your audience to see which one does a better job at hitting your goal. Simple as that. For instance, let's stick with that button example. Version A, which we call the control, might say, sign up now. But version B, the variant, might say, get started today. You run them at the same time to different people to see which phrase actually convinces more people to click. And here's the crucial part. You only change one thing at a time. That's how you know what actually made the difference. So why go through all this trouble? Well, the benefits are huge. When you start making data-influenced decisions, it's pretty obvious you're going to see higher conversion rates. But it goes way deeper than that. You also end up improving user satisfaction because you're learning what they actually prefer, creating a better experience. And your advertising becomes way more cost-effective because you're only putting your money behind what's already proven to work. Okay, so hopefully you're sold on the why. Now, let's get into the how. We're going to walk through the 7-step A/B test. Think of this as your playbook for running a successful test every single time. See, it's a really methodical process. You start by outlining your goals. What are you trying to achieve? Then you pick just one variable to test. From there, you build your two versions, you split your audience randomly, and this is a big one. You let the test run long enough to get data you can trust. After that, the last steps are easy. You analyze the results and you roll out the winner to everybody. And you might be wondering, does this process really work? Oh yeah, it absolutely does. Get this. One company ran a super simple A/B test on just the headline for a webinar. The result? A 25% increase in signups. That is a massive impact from one small data-driven change. Okay, so you get the process, you see the potential, but where on earth do you even begin? Let's look at 5 really smart places you can start testing right away to get the maximum impact. One really powerful area to test is the user journey itself. HubSpot, for example, ran a test to see what worked better, sending search traffic to a blog post or sending it straight to a product page. And the result was fascinating. The blog post landing page actually converted 22% better. That's a huge insight into how their customers behave. So, think of this table as your starting checklist. You can test headlines on your landing pages. You can try personalizing your content. You could even play with the length of your forms, or maybe add what we call trust signals, like testimonials, or like HubSpot did, you can optimize for different traffic sources. So many places to start. Now, before you dive in, it's just as important to know what not to do as it is to know what to do. So let's quickly cover 3 common pitfalls that can totally ruin your test results. There are 3 big mistakes that can just completely invalidate your tests. First, changing too many things at once. If you do that, you'll have no idea what actually caused the change. Second, ending a test too early. You might be acting on a fluke, not a real pattern. And finally, ignoring something called statistical significance. That's a fancy way of saying you need to be sure your result is a real trend, not just random chance. And all of this brings us to what I think is the most important takeaway here. A/B testing is not a one-and-done fix. It's a mindset. It's an ongoing process of learning, tweaking, and optimizing. Your first test is just the beginning of a conversation with your audience. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a little challenge. Think about your own website or your emails or your ads. Based on everything we've just talked about, what's the one small change, the one tiny tweak that you could test starting today that just might lead to a big improvement?